It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry do what it takes. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.
Welcome to the Windy City's finest. I'm Morgan, and he's Perry.
Ta-da! Thank you so much for doing the intro, Morgan.
My pleasure.
Yes, it is just me today. Clark isn't here, but they will be back. And yeah, we're just gonna do an interview with Morgan here and get to know you a little bit.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Awesome. Let me just get situated here.
You betcha.
Awesome. Great. And yeah, I think we'll just dive in if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So my first question for you is, what are you most proud of about yourself?
About myself, I think I'm going to say there's quite a few things, I guess. I'm most proud of my sense of humor, which is really, really awful, I've been told. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. But in all honesty, I think I'm just really proud of, I guess, staying true to myself. Is that really cliche?
No.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always, sorry, go ahead.
No, how so? How have you stayed true to yourself?
I think I've tried to go through life always kind of being that person, being myself, trying to be very humble, but also excited and happy to be exposed to new things, even though they might scare me a little bit.
For sure.
Take it head on kind of
I
thing.
I think that's an awesome thing to be proud of.
Thank you.
Because I think a lot of people don't have the courage maybe to do that.
Fair
and
enough.
so there's a quote by Marianne Williamson that's like, you know, it's not our darkness, it's our light that we're most frightened of, and by shining you let other people, you give other people permission to shine.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Is there anything else you're proud of?
Oh gosh. I mean, I am quite proud of the journey I've taken that we'll probably dive into a little bit more here with aerial arts, but it's something I never saw myself ever doing.
Right.
And I think that challenge is something that I'm really excited about. So
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like on that subject, like how long have you been doing aerial art?
That's a great question. I always start an intro class with my students, trying to tell them how long I've been doing it so they don't think I just wandered in off the street.
For sure.
I think it started in 2015. I started here in Medicine Hat at a different studio at the time, learning silks and hoop as a complete beginner. So I started in my 20s with no dance background, very poor gymnastics background. And just wanted to try something new. So I've been doing it on and off since then. I work as a biologist in the summers, so I will often be gone in the summers, so I don't get to do as much aerials as I like. So again, on and off since 2015. Yeah.
That's awesome, for sure. Great. My next question for you is, what is your greatest accomplishment?
Ooh, greatest accomplishments. Aerial-wise, I think, again, I grew up with a terrible fear of heights, and more so falling, I guess. So on the silks, that's something I've worked up to, is you always see with Cirque du Soleil or these big performances, people doing these crazy drops. And I think getting myself to be comfortable and actually enjoying the dropping motion has been a really cool kind of transformation, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like overcoming a fear, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's one that, it's not like you can go up there and have someone push you and help you. It's you that has to kind of let go and trust that it'll be okay. So I think that's kind of been a cool symbolic transformation. Yeah.
And like I know in your bio that you wrote for us, you mentioned, you know, seeing your students kind of overcome either that fear or other fears. Like, what is it like knowing that it's kind of an internal thing, but trying to support people and like help them through that? Or
It's so special, I think, because again, it's something that you, like you say, internally struggle with, but then to see that you came through it and see that they're kind of starting where you started and getting them through kind of that conflict within themselves is just really, really cool to watch happen. And I think that helps keep you going as a teacher.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, you mentioned that was kind of aerial wise, potentially your greatest accomplishment. What about just in life, like in your life?
For sure. I think I can go down different branches for sure. In my professional career / education, I got my master's in ecology in 2021. So that was always a really, really big thing for me. On another side, I got married last year, so that was also, thank you so much. That's also just really, really cool to be with a special person. So yeah.
Awesome. Next question for you.
Yes.
Is what are you still hoping to accomplish? And we could do both kind of aerial wise and maybe just in life.
Sure. Aerial wise, the next big thing that I'm really excited about is I really want to commit to what's called an aerial retreat. So I love travel, and the idea of a retreat is basically you take your vacation and you pair it with doing silks in really cool areas. So I'm hoping that in the near future I can book myself one and go spend some time hanging off a sailboat in the Mediterranean or something like that. So that's kind of my next goal, I guess, for this realm.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, oh gosh, outside of that, I have a lot of little goals, I guess. I also teach at the college here in Medicine Hat. So I have a lot of interest in actually setting up a kind of student-run research station out of Cypress Hills, looking at some of the local wildlife there and getting students hands-on involved with that. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And yeah, I like what you're saying about, I think the small steps are potentially a better way to achieve larger goals. So that's awesome.
Definitely. Bite size.
Yeah. Great. My next question is, what do you want people to know about you?
Oh, man. I hope they know that I never started where I'm at. I tell that to my students a lot. You hear them say, you do that so well, you do that so fluid, which is funny because in my brain I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I did that well. But yeah, I never started there, and most people don't, right? So it's something, I guess, beyond silks, beyond aerials, that we can all kind of look at is that everything's a journey, and we always get better the more we put into it. So it's one of those things. I think on the other side of the coin, I think I'm pretty funny. But
your sense of humor, for sure.
Again, so humble. But my students probably are rolling their eyes if they are watching this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
I hope I'm down to earth, I guess.
Sometimes I think that's where the best humor comes from.
I hope so. I hope so. Definitely.
For sure. And I think, to your point before that, I think there's potentially like a misconception oftentimes with like talent. And like, I think that a lot of times, in the arts, especially, like people doing these things, they practice a lot.
Yes.
And like you said, you've been doing this for a while, and it's been a journey, and everybody has their own journeys. And if people wanted to try this with enough time and energy, they could certainly get to where you are, or maybe even further.
And hopefully better. That's what I tell my students. I'm like, I want you to be showing me videos in the future when you're performing at Cirque du Soleil.
Absolutely. For sure. Cool. My next question is, what do you need more of in your life?
Ooh, probably stretching.
I feel that.
I feel that. Yeah, definitely. No, I think just that downtime and that committed time to taking care of myself. The whole idea of self-care is so important. So whether I guess that's physical in a stretch or just like really checking in on myself, I think that's really important and something that gets when we get so busy, it just kind of gets chucked to the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And would you say, like, is there any stretching that you do, like, for aerial? Like, does aerial in any way serve that kind of self-care in any way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So definitely, I've been trying to stretch more at home. So kind of give that committed time to it. I find if we try and pair it up with silks, we often get distracted by doing the fun stuff and less of the important behind the scenes stuff. But as to your other part of that point, absolutely, I think aerials has been such a big self-care for me. It's been an escape when things have gotten stressful. So I really, really cherish it for that as well. Yeah.
Awesome. And to that point, I mean, like, again, I know, like, in your bio, you mentioned kind of the community around aerial sports, and has that also helped you in any way?
Absolutely, definitely. So I think starting off, like, my aerial journey felt very my thing to me. Like, it was to see how far I could go with it.
Right.
But kind of flipping the coin and becoming more of an instructor side, I really cherish the community that we've built. I love the people I get to see for classes. They bring a lot of joy and passion and just camaraderie, I guess, to the environment that makes it really, really special to just see everyone thrive and support each other, be really open and a really awesome community. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kind of on the flip side of that question, what do you need less of in your life?
Oh gosh. I think as a whole, probably self-doubt. I like to say that I am my own #1 fan, but I think there's definitely that side of me that is very much conflicted with a lot of things that I do. So yeah, just working on being nicer, kinder to myself. And something again too, I tell my students the same, because they often get frustrated with what they're doing, and it's just be kind to your body and it'll take care of you.
No, I get that. It kind of like, is it kind of like that idea of, you know, we are our biggest critic?
I think so.
Yeah,
absolutely. I
get
so.
that for sure.
Yeah.
No, awesome. Great. What 3 words describe what you're most grateful for?
Oh my goodness.
I know it's kind of a hard question. Like, it's, what are you most grateful for? And what 3 words describe it?
Right? Anytime there's a word limit, it gets a little challenging.
We can break it or just do one. It's totally cool.
I am absolutely most grateful for my support system. So that's a lot of really wonderful people that I could spend a whole Emmy speech thanking.
Yeah.
But definitely the people that keep me balanced, keep me pushing towards my goals. And then when I do tumble, the people that help me pick myself back up again. So that support system is so huge. And I think for me, it's been my family. I'm very lucky to have the family I do, but I think for everyone, just finding that support system is really big.
For sure.
Okay, that was more than 3 words.
We'll
say support system, hyphenate it, so it's 1.
Absolutely, sounds good. Yeah.
Also, I think, is experience an okay thing? Like having experiences in life, and that sounds cliche as well, but...
No, but you mentioned, you know, you're open to experiences, and so yeah, like in what way?
I think I'm very grateful for the experiences I've had. Like I say, I love the idea of traveling and getting out and seeing just all the variety there is in the world. That's really, really cool to me. So I'm very grateful for that. Also kind of helps this as well. So, and then I think just silks. Aerials, I think I'm very, very grateful for, because again, it's built a healthy habit for me. It's been a great mental stabilizer, great community, and just really grateful for that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned travel. I know there's probably a question in here later about it, but like, where have you been in the world?
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. So my parents were wonderful in taking us as kids, so that I think helped really early off. I think the first trip we ever did was like the Dominican Republic.
Oh, wow.
But since then, I've been to Scotland and England for a band trip in high school, which was really, really fun. I've been to South Africa. I did that after graduating university as a kind of present to myself, and my cousin went along. That was a really special trip as well. We went to Cuba and Indonesia, myself and my husband now, which have been really special trips as well. And then we have some actually coming up right away. So
awesome.
A delayed honeymoon, if you will. So
Awesome,
very excited for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. My next question for you.
Yes.
And we've potentially touched on this in some ways, but more specifically, how do you cope when things get hard?
Definitely. I think it's trusting the people around you. So again, that self-doubt comes in a lot where you're kind of like your own worst critic and the imposter syndrome kicks in. And it's just having those people by you to say, no, that's not you. Like, you're making this worse than it is. Like, believe in yourself, all those kinds of things. But surrounding yourself with that kind of positivity is huge. And then having some kind of outlet, I think, was really helpful for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Cool. And who sticks out as being an early positive influence in your life?
Them. My parents, for sure. They've definitely been rock stars in it. I think back to my grandma as well. So less on, I don't think she would have supported me doing this because a lot of my family knew me as very clumsy. So I don't know how she would have felt about me doing aerials, but she was very much an avid bird watcher, and that kind of helps build the other side of me that I'm very proud to be about. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Who is most important to you now?
Oh, that's a hard question.
I know. It can be multiple people.
So many
Sounds like
people.
you have a whole system.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like if I say a name, I'm going to hear about it
later.
But I'll just say, for sure, my husband Wyatt has been absolutely a rock in my world. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Very broad question.
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah, another question we have is, how did you, or do you feel about where you grew up? Did you grow up here in Medicine Hat?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Definitely, I think it's a really cool place in the world. Here's my nature side coming up. I love the grasslands, and I love the prairies, and I love the river valleys. So I think it's an absolutely stunning city.
Yeah.
To be a part of the community as well. I think you find your own community wherever you go, and I think that's really important. So lucky to be around the people that I was around with growing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, if you don't mind, if we could jump into that nature side of things, because I think, the prairies, the grasslands, it's a very interesting ecosystem, I think, because as somebody who knows very little about it, if you're driving or something, or maybe that's the wrong kind of example, but it doesn't look like there's much going on.
No.
But is there more than meets the eye to it?
So much going on, so much. And I think it's one of those things that if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to see it, right? So definitely it's one of those things you kind of start noticing things. I think for me growing up, it was learning that not all birds are just birds. That sounds really silly, but starting to realize, well, that's a robin, or that's a certain type of sparrow, or that's a certain type of hawk. And then you just kind of start going down that rabbit hole of, holy smokes, there's so much diversity around me. So that applies from your grasses to your birds, to your insects, to your soil. Like there's so much there. It's
And you work a lot with owls,
yes,
right?
I do.
Can you speak to, I'm putting you on the spot here, but different kind of owls that are kind of in Alberta maybe, that people might not be aware of?
Oh my gosh, of course, yes. So I think everyone automatically thinks of a great horned owl, because that's your kind of friendly, maybe neighborhood owl that we all see, definitely in the urban areas, but we do have so much more than that. So I definitely recommend to people, if they're interested, just to pick up a bird book and just swipe through and see how many different types we have here. It's really, really cool. I work with a very, very small owl that spends a lot of time underground. So we've got those guys around. We've got, you name it, we've got the big forest owls too that are more kind of north of here, but definitely Cypress Hills is also a great place to go check them out too. So yeah.
For sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
My next question for you is, who are you most like in your family?
Oh, goodness. I think I definitely got my sense of humor from my dad.
Okay.
Whether or not I like to admit it. But I think there's definitely traits from both my mom and my dad that I acquired. And I think I'm really lucky to say that because I really love my parents. And I think they've got a lot of really awesome qualities that they've imbued in me, instilled in me. Yeah, totally. So hopefully it's a pretty close mix.
Close mix?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. My next question for you, it's a bit of a long one, but is there a time when you did something that seems out of character that most people wouldn't believe it?
Yes.
What was it?
This. 100%.
For sure.
So again, growing up, huge clumsy person. Like I will trip walking down the street. To this day, I still will. So as soon as I started saying, I'm going to try aerials, I think my dad for sure was like, are you sure about that? Is that a good idea for you?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the cool thing about life. The unexpected is often, I don't know, waited to be explored, and you never know what will happen. So
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of reaction do you get when you tell people that you do aerial sports? Definitely.
Again, if they knew me growing up, they always will go, are you sure? Like, that's what you do? But now if I show or meet people, they often go, well, wow, that must take a lot of strength, a lot of upper body. And that's the cool thing about it too. I started with none. In fact, I say I will start with negative because a push-up would kill me before. And so I think that's the really cool thing about this sport is that you don't have to come preloaded with all of that expertise. It builds it over time.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Looking back on your life, who or what makes you instantly light up?
Ooh. Is it cheesy if I say my husband again? He's a really wonderful person.
If they make you light up, absolutely.
He definitely even was helping me. He didn't answer that question for me, but he was helping me when we were going through questions for today. So
awesome.
He's definitely very, very supportive, and yeah, everything he does just makes me really happy. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
cool. What makes your life feel purposeful?
Purposeful. I think it really comes down to, I guess, that teaching element. I never saw myself as a teacher. I married a teacher, but even then I was like, I don't think I could ever do that. And it's really funny how the world or my life just kind of twisted into now I teach full time at the college. I teach silks. It's just, I really enjoy that aspect that I never really saw growing up. And again, it's that kind of taking what I know and handing it to someone else and seeing them either take what I gave them or build on it. That is really, really, really cool. And I love to see that in my students.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what values are most important to you? And I guess we could do both, like maybe in teaching, you know, if there are certain values that you like to hold, or maybe just in everyday life.
For sure.
What values are important to you?
Definitely. I think what's really, really important to me in everything is just being humble, I guess, and not trying to outshine other people. So I hope that I take that into my college teaching as well, in that I want people to see the strengths within themselves while still learning, but to not kind of eclipse what they're doing. So really trying to build that out of themselves. And something I try and do myself is just try not to compare yourself to someone else, because we're all doing our own thing. And we can all coexist and build off of each other instead of saying, this is the one and only way. You follow this, that's it. So I really cherish that, especially when people then are supportive of you. So kind of goes hand in hand, I guess. But
yeah, I love what you're saying about like the comparison, and I get a sense that like in nature and stuff, like potentially, I know for myself, when I'm in nature, I find it much more difficult to compare myself to, you know, others or whatnot. It's just kind of like you can be accepted as you are.
Yes.
And I know that, yeah, you work with nature, like owls, animals, and nature a lot. And I don't know if you have any other thoughts there.
That's
but
perfect. Absolutely. Yeah. We're all just animals, you know, like we're all just coexisting in our ecosystem. So I think it's really cool that it's just, you can get that break from, it feels like the norms of society to have to be the best all the time, and just instead supporting and helping each other become better at whatever it is you're interested in. So.
And you try and impart that in your teaching, is that right?
Absolutely.
Not comparing and just
Totally. So it's a little bit tough teaching. My background's mostly in sciences, so there's always that idea that this is fact, you can't argue it, but I'm hoping that we can kind of open our eyes a little bit and see that science is always building on itself too, right? So it's always getting better and better and better, and I think there's a cool, similarity to our own paths and adventures in life.
Absolutely. Cool. If one wish of yours could come true, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. There's so many things. I think my biggest wish is just to have a fulfilled life. Again, cliche, but I think feeling really good about what I've done with the time I've had seems like a really cool, like, end of the life, like look back and go, I did it well. So I don't know what that looks like.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Who knows? Like? More short term, I guess. Again, just trying to have a really successful teaching career at the college, and having my students be successful themselves and really enjoy what they do. So,
and is that how you would measure your success as a teacher? Is like through students or your own journey kind of?
I think both, right? Like, I think it's hard to just cut me out of it, but definitely it helps when you have students come back and say, hey, I remember your class, we did this, it was really cool, or this really helped me realize I wanted a career in this. Like, that's really, really cool to me, because I had instructors and professors like that too. So I totally get it from both sides.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yes, if you could travel anywhere, where would it be? And let's say it can't be somewhere you've already been.
Okay. I've got a list as well. It kind of depends on the day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do want to spend some time in Iceland. So that might be the next trip. We have 2 trips coming up this summer, so I need to dial it back a little bit. But Iceland would be really cool. I also really want to go to Mongolia. I've heard really cool things about it. And again, it kind of mirrors our own southern Alberta like landscape, but not. So I think that would be really cool to just see a different side of that. And the Galapagos, because that's just the heart of really cool wildlife science.
I imagine there would be a lot of birds.
Yes.
A lot of different types of birds.
Everything, right? One day.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like kind of building on this question, have you traveled anywhere with silks or hoop, or where would you like to either perform or go see something? Or
Yeah, exactly. And I think that leads back, that idea of that retreat is something I really want to do. I had friends that have done that elsewhere. We are on our honeymoon. Again, I have to thank my husband because he's coming along for this. We're spending some time in Portugal, and I've contacted Aerial Studio there that's going to do some lessons for us, and he's going to try his hand at it as well.
Oh, awesome. Do that. Great.
Perfect.
And we should be good. We'll just give this a second here. Technology. You gotta love it. Can't live without it. And it's,
That's right. That's right.
for sure. Awesome. Yes, no, Steve Irwin is who you would like to meet. They went too early. They had a large impact on you in your youth.
Yeah. I mean, how fun would it be too? Just running around the outback, looking at who knows what with the guy.
Literally anything.
This sounds amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. I think honestly, like, it brings to mind my that idea of comparison. And I just, from what I know about Steve Irwin, and I just feel like his whole personality and stuff, it was just like almost like he didn't compare anything. He was like, this thing, this being, this animal is awesome, and just like so much energy towards it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so true. And it's I think it really helped, the idea of like, just because it's not a cute, adorable, we can still value it. We can still appreciate it. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So to this day, I will thank my love of all things to Steve Irwin, I think.
For sure.
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
It's Clark and Perry on the case. Clark and Perry, do what it takes. Clark and Perry, investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.